Have you ever wondered what happens in the skies thousands of meters above the Earth? Numerous startling events in aviation history have astonished the global community and bewildered researchers. Today, we will reveal the 10 most unsettling flight incidents that have shocked the world. Number 10. An airplane landed 37 years late. The story revolves around Pan Am Flight 914, a Douglas DC-4 aircraft that supposedly took off from New York to Miami on July 2, 1955, carrying 57 passengers and 6 crew members. Instead of arriving in Miami a few hours later, the plane mysteriously appeared in Caracas, Venezuela, on March 9, 1985, without appearing on radar. The passengers and crew seemed shocked and confused. The pilot dropped a calendar out of the window before quickly returning to the runway and disappearing again. Neither the Venezuelan nor the US government confirmed the incident or released any seized evidence like the calendar or tower tapes. Multiple theories circulate online, suggesting the plane may have passed through a time portal or wormhole. Although the story lacks concrete evidence and seems like the plot of a movie, it has captured considerable attention online. Number 9. The convertible plane. Flight 243 experienced a dramatic incident on April 28, 1988. The plane took off from Hilo International Airport bound for Honolulu, carrying 90 passengers and 5 crew members. During the initial inspection, the aircraft seemed to be in good condition and had already completed 3 round trips that day. However, at an altitude of 7,300 meters, a section of the left side of the roof suddenly broke off. The pilots partially lost control of the aircraft and noticed debris in the cockpit. A large 5.5-meter section of the roof had detached, and a 58-year-old flight attendant, Clara Bell Lansing, was swept away and never found, despite passengers being belted in. 8 passengers suffered serious injuries. The original pilot, Agent Tompkins, was unable to regain control, so Captain Sean Steiner took command and performed an emergency descent. The plane was diverted to Kahului Airport, where further issues were encountered, including a left engine failure and uncertainty about the front landing gear. Despite these difficulties, the plane landed safely 13 minutes after the incident, and the passengers were quickly evacuated. The event was terrifying for everyone on board. Number 8. The plane without a captain. Flight Helios 522 suffered a heart-rending incident due to a pressurization failure, ending in the tragic loss of all 121 passengers and crew on board. The flight was initially planned to go from Larnaca to Prague with a stopover in Athens. Earlier, a previous crew had reported issues of frozen door seals and unusual noises, necessitating an inspection by a ground engineer. Regrettably, the engineer left the pressurization system in manual mode and didn't reset it to automatic. This oversight was missed by the flight crew. The plane took off with the pressurization system still set to manual, and as it ascended above an altitude of 3,660.8 meters, the cabin altitude warning horn went off. Tragically, the crew confused it for a takeoff configuration warning, which is only relevant on the ground. The 2 warnings had identical sounds, causing the fatal misunderstanding. As the plane continued its ascent, oxygen masks were deployed around 5,400 meters. Despite attempts to connect with air traffic control, communication was lost. The Greek military, noticing the irregularity, intercepted the plane and shockingly observed an empty captain's seat and an unresponsive first officer. A flight attendant, Andreas Prodromou, who was not qualified to fly a Boeing 737, bravely took control of the cockpit and tried to steer the plane to a rural area. However, he lost engine power due to fuel exhaustion. Tragically, the plane crashed 40 kilometers from Athens, resulting in the death of all passengers. Number 7. This is the incredible story of Vesna Vulovic, a flight attendant who miraculously survived a horrifying plane crash. In 1972, Jet Flight 367 was en route from Stockholm to Belgrade, with stopovers in Copenhagen and Zagreb. However, the plane met a disastrous end when a catastrophic explosion occurred over Czechoslovakia, causing the aircraft to disintegrate mid-air. Among the wreckage, Vesna was the only survivor, found by Bruno Hanke, a villager with medical training from World War II. Now you may be wondering, how did she survive this horrific incident? The answer lies in a combination of unique circumstances. Vesna was trapped by a food cart in the fuselage as it detached and plummeted towards the earth. Investigators believe the fuselage's angle of impact on a steep, snow-covered slope helped cushion the crash. Vesna's naturally low blood pressure caused her to lose consciousness swiftly, preventing her heart from bursting due to the sudden impact. She suffered immense injuries, including a fractured skull, a brain hemorrhage, 2 broken legs, 3 broken vertebrae, a shattered pelvis, and numerous broken ribs. After spending several days in a coma, enduring paralysis and total amnesia, Vesna's recovery was nothing short of a miracle. Number 6. British Airways Flight 5390 is a tale of quick thinking, teamwork, and sheer determination. On June 10, 1990, the BAC 111 was flying from Birmingham to Malaga when the left windshield panel in the cockpit suddenly blew out. This created a vacuum that sucked the plane's captain, Tim Lancaster, halfway out of the aircraft. Yes, you heard that right. The captain was literally hanging out of the cockpit at 23,000 feet. But this is where the real heroics began. Flight attendant Nigel Ogden, hearing the explosive decompression, rushed to the cockpit and saw the unbelievable sight of Lancaster being sucked out of the plane. Without thinking twice, Ogden grabbed onto Lancaster's belt, anchoring him to the plane. Meanwhile, co-pilot Alistair Atchison took over the controls, initiating an emergency descent while battling the wind and noise rushing into the cockpit. Against all odds and with the help of air traffic control, Atchison managed to land the plane safely in Southampton, despite having no formal training for such an emergency. And what about Captain Lancaster? Despite being exposed to freezing temperatures and the thin atmosphere for more than 20 minutes, he survived with minor injuries thanks to Ogden's bravery and the quick actions of the crew. Number 5. On January 30, 1979, a Boeing 707-323C cargo plane vanished off the radar during its journey from Narita International Airport in Japan to Los Angeles International Airport in the US, with a scheduled stopover at Galileo International Airport in Rio de Janeiro. The plane, carrying a valuable cargo of 50 paintings valued at a staggering $1.2 million, disappeared just 22 minutes after takeoff, approximately 200 kilometers away from Tokyo. Despite extensive search and rescue operations, neither the wreckage of the plane nor the precious artwork it carried have ever been recovered. Theories abound about what might have happened to the 6-man crew and their priceless cargo. Some speculate that the crew orchestrated an elaborate heist, escaping with the paintings to live out their days in luxurious anonymity. Others suggest a catastrophic mechanical failure that destroyed the plane mid-air, scattering the wreckage and paintings over a vast, untraceable expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Despite years of investigation and speculation, the truth about the fate of the Boeing 707-323C and its precious cargo remains a mystery. To this day, the disappearance of the plane and its valuable payload is considered one of the most puzzling, unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Number 4. Amelia Earhart, a name synonymous with courage, ambition, and mystery. Earhart, a groundbreaking aviator and advocate for women's rights, was not only the first woman to cross the Atlantic by plane in 1928, but also the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, earning her the U.S. Distinguished Flying Cross. However, her most audacious venture was yet to come. In 1937, Earhart, along with navigator Fred Noonan, embarked on a daring attempt to circumnavigate the globe, covering a staggering 47,000 kilometers along an equatorial route. On May 20th, they took off from Miami, California in a specially outfitted aircraft known as the Flying Laboratory. After various stops worldwide, the duo set off from Lae, New Guinea on July 2nd, intending to cover over 3,000 kilometers to Howland Island. Despite the USCGC Itasca's attempts to guide them, the Flying Laboratory vanished without a trace. The most accepted theory about their fate is the crash and sink theory, which suggests that the plane crashed into the ocean and sank. This theory gained traction when a shoe similar to Earhart's was discovered on an island shore. However, like the mystery of the Boeing 707-323C, the truth about what happened to Earhart, Noonan, and the Flying Laboratory remains one of aviation's greatest unsolved mysteries. Number 3. The flight that reappeared with skeletons. The Santiago Airlines Flight 513, a tale that walks a thin line between fact and fiction. Departing from Aachen, West Germany in 1954, the flight was destined for Porto Alegre, Brazil, a journey supposed to last 18 hours. However, this routine trip soon turned into a terrifying mystery, as the plane vanished over the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Despite years of relentless search, no trace of the aircraft or its passengers was found. The airline, unable to bear the tragedy and financial losses, ceased operations within 2 years. Fast forward to October 12, 1989, in an unexpected and eerie turn of events, the lost Flight 513 reportedly reappeared and landed in Porto Alegre. But the strangeness didn't end there. On board, authorities found 92 skeletons, all perfectly preserved, including that of the pilot, still gripping the controls. The chilling discovery turned an aviation mishap into a ghostly enigma. However, the credibility of this account is widely disputed. Many argue that this tale originated from the pages of the Weekly World News, a tabloid known for its fantastical and outlandish stories. The narrative also bears an uncanny resemblance to the plot of a Twilight Zone episode and a similar tale about Pan Am Flight 914. Furthermore, there are no historical documents from 1954 confirming the existence of Flight 513, casting a shadow of doubt over the entire story. Number 2. The unexpected turn for Delta Flight 1425. A journey that transformed from a routine flight into a nerve-wracking ordeal. Delta Flight 1425, a plane with a lifespan of 32 years, was making its usual route from Atlanta to Baltimore when a startling bang echoed through the cabin, followed by an ominous cloud of smoke. The captain's voice broke through the cacophony, announcing that the aircraft had lost an engine and was preparing for an emergency landing. Fear gripped the passengers, many of whom began scribbling desperate messages to their loved ones, expecting the worst. One passenger, despite the panic, had the presence of mind to film the unfolding scenario. The video revealed a metallic part swinging loosely in the engine, backlit by an eerie orange glow, indicating a severe problem with a cone. As a safety measure, the flight was rerouted to Raleigh, North Carolina. Despite the terrifying ordeal, the plane carrying 154 passengers managed a safe landing. Number 1. Our journey takes a spectral turn with the chilling tale of Eastern Airlines Flight 401. On December 19, 1971, the Lockheed L-1011 TriStar plunged into the Florida Everglades, taking with it 101 lives. The cause? A simple oversight. An unnoticed autopilot disconnection. This crash marked a grim milestone in aviation history, being the first fatal incident involving a wide-body aircraft and the second deadliest in U.S. history at the time. But the tragedy didn't end there. In a bid to salvage what they could, Eastern Airlines recovered usable parts from the wreckage, reusing them in their fleet. And that's when the eerie reports began to surface. Passengers and crew started reporting sightings of the deceased Captain Robert Loft, affectionately known as Bob, and flight engineer Donald Repo, or Don. These apparitions appeared in various parts of planes that had the salvaged parts, their spectral forms causing a stir among the living. But these weren't just tales spun by superstitious crew members. Even high-ranking Eastern Airlines officials reported encounters with the phantom crew, an unsettling reminder of the past or the restless spirits of the departed. We may never know, but one thing is certain, these phantom sightings turned ordinary flights into chilling encounters, leaving an indelible mark on aviation lore. Number 1. We now delve into the harrowing account of American Airlines Flight 191. On May 25, 1979, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10 took off from Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Just as the plane was lifting off, the left engine detached, causing the aircraft to roll and crash. The devastating accident claimed 271 lives on board and 2 on the ground, making it the deadliest aviation accident to occur on U.S. soil. But the horror of Flight 191 doesn't end there. Ever since the crash, there have been numerous reports of ghostly sightings around the crash site and the nearby trailer park. Residents have reported seeing mysterious floating lights, hearing unexplained noises, and even encountering apparitions of the victims. The most common sighting is of a man dressed in a 1970s-style pilot uniform, wandering aimlessly before disappearing into thin air. Some believe he is the ghost of the captain from Flight 191, forever doomed to roam the crash site. The haunting of Flight 191 serves as a chilling reminder of the tragic event, making it one of the most terrifying incidents in aviation history. As we journey through these eerie tales, we ask you, which of these incidents do you find the most terrifying? With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video until the end. We'll see you in the next video right here on Knowledge Planet, the power of knowledge. Consider us more than just a channel. We're a growing community, a family of knowledge seekers. We're on a mission, inviting you to join our growing family. We need you. Subscribe, become part of our community, share your thoughts, interact with us. A like or even dislike all count. Stay tuned, stay curious, and together we'll continue to explore the vast expanse of Knowledge Planet. Don't forget to watch the previous episodes and stay tuned for the upcoming ones. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now! And one more thing, that little bell icon, it's your ticket to never missing a beat. Click it, and you'll be the first to know when fresh content hits the airwaves. Goodbye.